If you're like me and you're developing an app completely by yourself, you might not be the best designer. And I don't consider myself a great designer, but I do consider myself a decent web designer, I guess, web and mobile app designer. I think a lot of developers have not a great sense of design, I would say, and I do consider myself to have a decent sense of design. That being said, I wouldn't really consider myself a designer per se. Like I think there's definitely a lot that I have to learn and a lot of, improvements that I need to make in user experience design and user interface design. And that is actually a really important part of being a mobile app developer and a website developer, and especially if you are working by yourself, because creating these great user experiences does have a lot to do with design. So it isn't enough to just build something that works anymore. You need to build something that almost like delights the user. And I think this is the bar has been risen and people expect really good designs now, which is a good thing. I think it's a good thing that we have these higher expectations for apps. We have these higher expectations for websites, and we are looking as like consumers. We're looking for things that are well designed, work well, and you can just kind of like feel it immediately when you get on a website if it is well designed or if it has been kind of like thrown together and not working well. And it's one of those things that you almost can feel that you almost don't realize unless you're looking for it. So I don't think a lot of people actually know what. I don't think a lot of people actually realize that from like the consumer side. Like I don't think the consumer is thinking like, oh, this site is really poorly designed. For them, what they think is, I don't know how to use this, or I don't like this, or this isn't working. It's probably a lot more like this isn't working. But it's not this. I guess when I say this isn't working from the mindset of the consumer, it's kind of along the lines of like, this isn't easy for me to figure out. And that is that is your job as the developer and the designer, is to make it easy for them to figure out. And I think I've gotten like a lot of feedback with the Roads app, and I think there's a definitely, I don't think, I know there's definitely a lot of design improvements that are needed, and especially in that kind of like onboard process, and especially with an app like Roads where the the concept of the app is a little bit different, and it's not 100% straightforward. Being able to explain how the app works and get the new user using it and onboarded and understanding what it is actually really important, and that is a design task. Now, with this newer app that I developed called Birthday Vault, is the design there was actually kind of like a first core piece of what I thought of when building it. So I wanted it to look really clean and kind of like modern and like fun around this birthday concept, because this app is pretty simple. At its core, it is basically a form. It's like a 5-page form and then a countdown, and that's kind of it. It's a really really simple app, and I guess what I'm banking on with this app is that the concept is pretty novel, it's simple, and you kind of instantly understand what it is. So my headline for it, for example, is the journal that you write once a year. So that you read that and you're like, okay, I kind of get it already. It's called Birthday Vault, so once a year you connect that to your birthday, and then if you read the subtitle, it basically explains it again, that you're like, this is a journal that you write one time a year on your birthday. So people, I think, will understand the concept of it immediately, and then since it's a paid app, I think it needs to have that really high level of design quality. Because if it didn't, it would be like, why would I pay for this if it doesn't, like, the concept is simple, and didn't look good and it didn't seem like really well polished of an app, it's like, oh, you want me to pay for this, but I could actually just do this with pen and paper, and I could actually just do this with the Notes app. So it needed to, in my mind, be really well designed and give people an experience when they use it. Give them a fun kind of like exciting experience, not the same experience that you would get from your Notes app. So yeah, if you want to go check out the design, you can go to birthdayvault.app, and I have screenshots of the app there. You can download it, and you can download it if you want, but you don't need to download it just to look at the design. And that gets me kind of to the core point of this, which is how I actually got these designs done was using a lot of AI tools. So these designs can be done with AI. Cursor was a huge piece of this, and the landing page was designed after the app, so the app was designed first, and I really mainly used Cursor for the design of it. I took some influences off the web, gave it a couple pictures of different designs that I liked, and then I gave it actually like a really long prompt, and I was talking about essentially what I just said. Like, I want that kind of like magical user experience for someone to have with this app, and I went in a lot of detail of what I wanted for that, and then it generated like versions of the app that you can see on the landing page. And it wasn't fully polished, but I would say the design elements that it generated were really good. And then I was able to modify them slightly and do some follow-up prompting that ultimately got it to where it is now. Yeah, so it's not that I wouldn't say it designed the entire app. I was definitely making a couple adjustments, but it for sure did a lot of the heavy lifting. And then on the landing page, it did, I would say, almost the entire landing page without me doing too much. And if you go and look at the landing page, there's very subtle gradients on it that I wouldn't even know how to do that. I wouldn't know how to make that subtle of a gradient, because I think as a non-designer, you kind of get in a mind, like whenever I'm using color and thinking of color, I typically don't go too subtle. It's normally like I'm picking like a bright color, and I'm picking something that's like just like red or like blue, and it's not as like subtle and as like refined as the way that this generated it. So I was super impressed with that. The logo I did design myself, but that was actually just done in Canva, so that wasn't like AI generated. But yeah, I think the landing page is, honestly, it's one of the best I think I've ever made, and I think that is because of the design. And it's simple. It's definitely a simple landing page, but simple is good. It's a simple app. It doesn't need a lot. All the landing page needs to do really is convince someone to click the download on App Store link and then go to the App Store, and then the job of the landing page is done. So yeah, it's definitely simple. I think it is a really well designed landing page. Go check it out. Let me know what you think. And if you aren't or haven't used Cursor or other similar AI tools to help you with your design, I would highly recommend trying it out. I don't think it's a 100% like, let me use this to do the entire design, but you can get pretty close with it. And especially if you aren't already a decent designer, then it's only going to help you, in my opinion. So yeah, that is kind of, I guess, a use case study of how I designed this app. To get early access to these conversations and contribute with your own thoughts, join the One Man Startup channel on Rhodes Audio today by going to onemanstartup.com/join Rhodes.